Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Series A, Dhamma Talk number 23. So we have been talking under this Series A how to practice Satipatthana Vipassana meditation properly and correctly, and to how to progress and become stronger in the most effective and shortest duration period. So if we summarized it based on what we have done, so we observed or mindful of arising and passing away of the physical and mental objects. Okay. While doing so, number one, we incline our mind towards the cessation of each events or process. And while we are doing so, we observed very deeply, penetratively, intensely and closely on the object of arising. And while we are able to be able to observe that way, and we make sure that we can observe one after the other, one object after the another, continuously, constantly, and consistently, without a break and a gap. And if you are observing that way, then your progress will be very effective, strong, and deep. And while doing so, these are the main thing that you have to really look after. And there are also supportive factors, which support the progress. The supportive factors, we need to take care of it whatever and wherever we can. There are altogether 7 supportive factors. We had discussed about it. And once you have all these supportive factors as much as possibly can, and then observing, incline your mind towards a cessation, deeply, penetratively, without a break and a gap, you will come to establish very strong concentration, deep concentration. But don't expect to have that kind of deep and strong concentration all the time. Sometimes they are good, sometimes they are not so good. Sometimes they are quite good. And there might be times they are very distinctively good. Very distinctively good. You can say, wow, this is good. I never had like that before. That kind of a session, you will have it. In other words, during that session, the meditation is very continuous, no break, no gap, and deep. And you can see the cessation with quite a clarity. Very distinct, quite different from most of the meditation session you have. And whenever you have these kind of deep and distinctive session, very, very good session, different from most of the session that you have, reflect your mind. Okay. Reflect your mind, analyze it. In other words, analyze and dissect that very good session, okay, with the best of your ability. The key thing is cause and effect. Cause and effect, condition, surrounding, environment, everything. What kind of environment is supporting these kind of good session? What kind of conditions are there? Okay, anything, both physical environment, mental environment, biological environment, all these things. Try and see and analyze, and even take a note. Take a note, okay, these, and so on. And then, once in a while, you will have these kind of very distinctive, very good session again. Again, you take note, you take note, you take note. What kind of conditions, situations are promoting these kind of good, distinctive meditation session? Take a note. And by taking note, you will come to know, you will come to have a pattern, okay? Certain things become commonality. Oh, these are common in every session that I have. And then try and remember those things. For you, those are the important things, to have these things. The reason is, you don't have these kind of very good session quite often. But once you know what kind of things promote it, what kind of conditions promote it, and when you have these kind of conditions, okay, you got a pattern and a system. And whenever you are meditating not so good, try and produce and try and promote, try to make things happen, these environment and situation. And if you do that, you'll begin to find you will have a deep and distinctive session more often. Okay, so in other words, all the characteristics, all the conditions, all the environmental factors, physical, environmental, mental environment, biological environment, everything, all these things together, whichever gives you that kind of deep, distinctive meditation. In Pali, it's called nimitta. Nimitta is signs. Oh, these are the signs or signposts, or characteristics. By having these information, you can get into this kind of deep, distinctive, good meditation more and more often. It's very helpful. So this is another way of how to make your progress become faster and more efficient. So if you look at it, again, this is not, I'm moving, very simple. First and foremost, you're meditating. Okay? You're meditating, you have to meditate at a location, a place. Location, a place, that's the thing. So, if you want to put in general, you can say it, or whether very large geographical, whether in Canada or United States or Burma or Thailand or Malaysia. Okay, that's how you can put it that way. That's big. And then, this center, center A, center B, center C. So for those people who meditate, all different, going around the world and meditating, these become more important. And this center, I have more. This place, I have more. That kind of a thing. And then in here too, we don't go that far. When we don't go that far, let's say whether you meditate in hope, do you get deeper? Okay, or in nuanced vista, do you get deeper meditation? Or this Dhamma lab, or at home. Okay, you'll find that a certain location gives you a better, a better product. These are the signs. And that is in a small locality. Now even you can even go smaller, just in your house. Basically, most of us, all of us are working, so we don't have much time. We just gather once a week here, and then gather once a month or so. So most of the time you're at home, and even at home, you can try it, whether you meditate in the living room or in the bedroom or on the veranda and so on. Which is more conducive. And also time, whether it's the morning or afternoon or evening, these kind of time. Try, if you don't do that kind of a variety of one time, try just for the experiment purpose, do different time and see. And also, even at a certain place you know, oh, this room is good, or it's my shrine room. If you have a shrine room, that's where you always sit. In a shrine room you sit, or you can sit carelessly, you can sleep on a chair, you can sleep on the floor, you can sit with a cushion, or you can have a very specific, just try to make yourself, it is the training of the mind, you make the mind gravitate into things. A certain cushion, a certain cloth, a certain towels, a certain robe or a blanket, you use it. And you will find there is a certain consistency, the commonality with a certain location, a certain product, a certain place, a certain time produce you better meditation, deeper meditation. So that is one thing you can analyze it. I'm not saying you have to, if you can, of course, you can always sit there at a certain time, that is fantastic. If you can't, you have to here and there, but you put your best effort so that you can go to that place. Oh, Dhamma lab, whenever I come once a week, I got a better meditation in Dhamma lab than sitting at home. If that is the case, put effort to come here. Or, at home once a month, it's really good. I'll put my best effort to be there once a month because it produces a better meditation, deeper meditation. So in other words, accommodation, location or place. And also a little time, if you're for the people who are meditating at home at the consistently, regularly, daily basis. And this is one information you can find out about yourself, which is good. So that is in terms of location and place. And then another one is, you can call it a weather, weather or climate. More precisely, if you want to boil right down to it, temperature, pressure, and humidity. So in here too, let's see, you can start from a very big place, whether you go into the Canada or Burma or Thailand, that is which weather is more conducive to you. That's the first place. And even in the hot place, whether in a sea level or whether in a mountains or 2,000 feet, 3,000 feet level, depending on where you are. Because these geographic location and the elevation controls the temperature or utu or weather. And even in the weather, whether you meditate in a winter or summer or rainy season or spring or fall, assuming that you want to go for a longer meditation. I got better in rainy season. Oh, I'm better in the winter, and so on. So these kind of things. Again, what is it? This is temperature, pressure, and humidity. Basically, I like to put that way. Do weather. And you are meditating now, and then let's say you are at home. Okay? At home, try it. Put your home temperature 22 degrees and meditate. Put 20 degrees and meditate. Put 18 degrees and meditate. And see, a certain temperature is more conducive for you, not for everybody, for you to get into that deeper meditation. What is that? That's a temperature. Or you can meditate inside the house, or you can meditate outside the house. That is the humidity and also availability of fresh oxygen. These are the things. And if you experiment it, you will find a certain factors, okay, a certain conditions are more conducive for you to get into the deep and good meditation. So, location. Secondly, temperature, pressure, humidity, these kind of things. And then this one is you can find it everywhere. Okay? You don't escape it. Effort. Effort. Effort is, we all know there are two kinds of effort, physical effort and mental effort. We have discussed about it, so we won't go into detail. Physical effort or mental effort. And in here too, you have to analyze and record and remember every time. Every time you meditate, there's a certain degree of efforts going in. Okay? And after every sitting, just reflect upon yourself. What kind of effort you put it in? Okay? Don't think about why. I have a bad day, I have a good day, I have an exhausted day. Just leave them out. But what kind of effort I apply in this sitting? And then every sitting, after the sitting, analyze what kind of effort you put in, what kind of physical effort and mental effort you put in. And then you will have various sittings, and there are various level of effort you put in, and each effort, whatever, now you will be drawing your own chart and a pattern. Based on the effort, what kind of meditation you goes in, you can begin to form the pattern. And then one time or two times or three times, you have this very good and distinctive meditation, very good session. And in that session, okay, now really analyze and take a note. How are you applying the effort? How are you applying the effort? And then you will know, okay, it will be difficult for you to describe to another person, but you know, you feel, you sense the way you apply the effort, both physical and mental. And there are many series and many sections, the way you apply the effort. They are different. And this, especially the good one, try and feel it, try and know it, try and sense it, the way you apply and how this physical and mental effort is conducted in that session. And remember it very, very well. Etch it in your mind. And then, whenever you sit, try and produce that kind of effort. Yes? So that is another sign. They call it namitta, or sign, or factors. Okay, factor that promotes geographic location, temperature, pressure, humidity, and then there's an effort. And then also look at us. What do we do all the time that we must do without fail, we have to do? Okay, these are the things that we have to do, and we are doing it when meditating. You have to sit at a place, you have to set a certain temperature, pressure, you have to apply effort. But there's another biological need we have. That biological need is food, the food that we eat. The food that we eat too. I'm not talking about 1 time or 2 times, because you have been meditating for some 5 years, some 10 years, some every day, some every other day. So there are many, many, many statistics you have. You can leave these totally ignore, or you can actually put a record of it. So in here, the food that you eat too. In general, be aware. But whenever there's a very good session that comes in, around that time, see what kind of food you eat, what kind of time you eat. Okay? What kind of food, what time you eat, and also what amount did you eat. Amount. Okay? Because we have discussed quite in detail when it comes to food and nourishment session. The amount we talk in details. So in here is the amount that you ate on that particular day. Know the amount, know the way you eat, know the food you eat, know the kinds you eat. So whether it is a bread and cheese, or a hamburger, or a fish burger, or rice and peanuts, whatever. And remember those things. Keep record. And these are the signs, or these are the factors, okay, that is good for you to go into deep, distinctive meditation. Of course, you have to have a deep, distinct meditation. And based on that, you begin to build a model. You begin to build a model, and you collect all these data. And then, once you have sufficient data, whenever you sit, whenever you want to go, you apply all these factors, apply all these data, and sit. And you'll find you will quite often get into this distinctly good meditation. Okay? Everything is cause and effect. Everything is condition. Environmental condition, external condition, internal condition. All that we need to do is we have to be mindful, aware, reflective, composed. A pattern and commonality. And once you know it, if you reproduce these things, you will have more often these kind of very good deep meditation session. If not, if you are not aware, so to speak, where the chip may fall. So you do it, sometimes good, sometimes bad, and so on and so forth. But this is life, and life has a pattern, and everything is cause and effect. If you analyze and if you take note of it, you can construct your own good meditation session. So these are knowing and remembering the signs, remembering the factors that give you very good distinctive meditation section. And whenever you have that, take a good deep note and remember it. In general, we are similar one to the other, but specifically different. Some people might have a very good meditation at 18 degrees centigrade, and some will be at 22. Different. Okay. Some need no fresh air, some doesn't mind, and so on and so forth. So these are called signs or factors that produce good distinctive meditation, and one need to remember it. So there will be good meditation, there will be bad meditation, but you can try by collecting data the best so that you can have more and more good meditation sessions. Okay. Okay, that is how one can get good meditation session and bad meditation session. But don't think that good session and bad sessions are totally controlled by the situation and factor that we have just discussed. There are also other factors, especially for people who are practicing Satipatthana Vipassana. Okay. There are other factors that also control a certain so-called good session and a certain so-called bad session. Because in this Vipassana meditation, okay, we are not trying to build the supreme deep concentration, or let's call it absorption or jhana. Not let's call it, that is what the name is. Absorption or jhana. Not only that. And in here is we are striking a balance. In Vipassana, everything is about balance, balance, balance. Striking a balance here. Meditation, not to be too deep, going into the point of absorption, but at the same time not scattered around, somewhat in between. Okay, somewhat in between. That is what we are striving for. And when we do that, if we can keep observing, okay, with that kind of average mode, not too deep, not too superficial, what happened was you began to understand different, okay, characteristics or qualities of the nature of the mind and the nature of the matter. If you do it properly, there's no if or but, because that's the cause and effect. You meditate this way, you observe this way, you do exactly as we have described. Okay. How many big 4 headings? 4. Incline your mind to cessation, deeply and penetratingly observed. And then put effort so that no break and gap with all these supporting factors. If you do that, there's no if or but, you will come to see or experience the nature of mind and matter. And this nature of mind and matter, for the communicative purpose, okay, we have been divided into different level of understanding of mind and matter. Okay, altogether, 13 of them, 13 different levels. So what we are talking about is we are talking about the level of insight. Level of insight or level of jnana. Level of insight means you understand different things about mind and matter. So the first one is nama rupa paricheda jnana. Okay? Discriminative awareness between the mind and matter, between the body and consciousness. Okay? Mind and matter, body and consciousness. Okay? We have talked about that quite often. We won't talk too much in detail because at a later part we might go a lot more detail. But in here is we are talking about good meditation session and a not good meditation session or bad meditation session. So we will discuss in context with that. And when you begin to sense or feel, okay, this is mind, this is body. Mind is the one process, one phenomenon. The body or the matter is one process, one phenomenon. Totally different. These are totally unmixed, like water and oil. And when you're meditating and when you have the experience of that nature, okay, mind and body is just like water and oil, totally, entirely different and separate. At that moment, okay, if we have to give quality. It is said your meditation is reasonably good, but still not too good. Reasonably good, but not too good. When your meditation is reasonably good, not too good, you begin to see the discriminative awareness between mind and matter. Or in other words, these two phenomena are totally, entirely different and separate. But we always took these two phenomena as one under the heading of I. I. So I starting to break down, that's the first awareness. And meditation is not so bad, reasonably good, but not too good. And then the next one is, what happened is this body and mind, this body and consciousness, okay, they walk under the law of karma or cause and effect. Okay? The mind or intention is the cause. And whatever the body does, behavior and manner is the effect. The environment, temperature, pressure, heat, and so on, and applying on the body is the cause. And the mind wanting to relieve or do something because of that condition is the effect. And so on. This causal relationship, you begin to see, sense, and feel that cause and effect relationship between the mind and the body. And at that time, your meditation is set. You are reasonably good, but not very good yet. Okay, the first one is reasonably good, but not so good. And this one is reasonably good, but not very good yet. Your concentration level is coming to that level. But at the same time, if you are just starting it, these are the ones that you are experiencing it. You're starting to experience. For that person, they think that it is very good, it is fantastic. That is how they are feeling, because this is a new experience. So based on that experience, they don't have anything to compare with. So they think this is really good. Wow, I can see the distinct separation between mind and body. I can see how the minds and bodies work and so on, and fantastic. And the yogi's mind, they think they are very good, but in the overall scale, first one is reasonably good, but not that good. Second one is reasonably good, but not that great. And then you feel good, and those are the times that you feel that you are rising, you are progressing. That's how you think. And then suddenly there is another level of insight. You are experiencing this relatively good and comfortable feeling, and then suddenly what happened was, it seems like that little good, or comfortable session slip away from you. Just slip away. When that one slip away, what happened was the experience is discomfort come in. Discomfort both in terms of physical as well as mental discomfort. What it is like discomfort, irritation, frustration, agitation, aches and pain, nausea. Okay, it may be big, it may be small, it may be mere, but still the mind is in a jittery mode. These kind of things set in. So as soon as this set in, if we look at it, for a beginner, you are meditating for about the first 3 days, the mind settled down. And the 4th or 5th day, you can start seeing the discriminated aware of mind and body, and within about 6-7 days you start seeing the causal relationship. And then suddenly it seems like everything you have built up is gone. So in our mind, the yogi's mind, if you are not aware of it, we have a very bad session, no good, something is wrong. Okay, something is wrong. That is the way we perceived. But one thing is, that is the natural order of things in terms of insight. Okay? Once you have built up that, after about day 5 or day 6 or day 7, then you begin to feel these kind of totally irritating, uncomfortable, boring, or even disappointing, not wanting to do, not wanting to meditate, or wanting to walk out, that kind of a thing. Feel like you're too restricted, you want to break it through. All these things happen. So in general, it's called a bad session, bad meditation session. That is what's happening. So in here, the yogi must know that itself is a progress. Okay. When we don't know that it's a progress, we begin to see a bad session and we want to give up, we want to pack the bag and go, or you go to the different path. Different path in a sense of you are not pursuing what you are supposed to be pursuing and you do something totally opposite. And so this bad session, uncomfortable session, you can't get much concentration, irritating, it's a bad session, but actually in terms of Dhamma, it is progressing. If you want to call it, it is the stage when you begin to experience the nature of suffering. Okay? Suffering or pain or irritation, see? We talk about don't want to do uncomfortable, pain, nausea, itching. These are dukkha, 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 suffering. You are experiencing the nature of dukkha. But at that time you cannot think in this context. It is just that bloody irritating, don't want to do. The mind itself takes it in a very different way. And also the thing is, whatever you meditate upon, whatever you are observing, you are still observing. You're observing, it seems like just gone, gone, gone. You just can't. Rising and falling, not rising and falling, rising, falling, and pain and rising, falling, itchy, rising, falling, boring. Nothing, you are gravitating or pulling one or two objects constantly and consistently. So just simply disappearing and one object after the other disappearing. Of course, in your mind you cannot concentrate, you cannot meditate, my meditation is bad. But in reality you are experiencing anicca, so impermanence, nature. And then also, whatever you are trying your best, you don't give up, you try your best. But you try to control it. No, I'm going to just go rising and falling, I'm going to stick to it, stick to it, stick to it. You try to control, but you just can't control. That is anatta, non-self. So this is the level where you are experiencing the three characteristics of mind and matter, anicca, dukkha, and anatta. But right now we sit down and talk theoretically, it is, wow, okay, yes, that's right, I understand. But while you are sitting and meditating, you just don't feel that way at all. Okay? You just don't feel that way at all. But now, once you have the idea, once you know the theory, the stages where we are going to go through, let's say you are in a 1 week, after a week, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days, when it's happening, do not be discouraged. Do not give up. Know that you are in this phase. Actually, you are starting to experience anicca, everything flipping gone. Dukkha, everything is just pain and aches and nausea and numbness. And then you just can't concentrate. You just can't observe. Anatta, know that. And with that knowing in mind, you must be persistent about observing this rising and falling. Let's call it rising and falling. And whatever that distinct comment, but you have to be really strong with persistent, without giving up. You just go through that very bad meditation session. So in here, the point we are making is, bad session not necessarily mean environment, not only location, temperature, food, and so on. It could be a phase, okay, meditation phase you are going through. Somewhat good session, especially for the beginner, that is really good, is the phase 1 and phase 2 you are going through. Now phase 3, very bad, but you persist and you keep on going. And when you keep on going, eventually what happened was, slowly and slowly it settled down. Okay? The reason it settled down is your persistence, not giving up, knowing that this is the phase you have to go through, and knowing the best that you can. This is the 3 general characteristics of mind and matter phase you are going through. The first wave, this is not all. Because one needs to understand the whole meditation, the whole practice is about understanding, okay, experientially about the impermanence, state of flux. Okay. Dukkha, suffering or unsatisfactoriness of these mind and matter. And anatta, there is no way, nothing, nobody can control the nature of the mind and the nature of the body. They are operating under their own law. Those are called 3 general characteristics of mind and matter. And this whole Vipassana meditation about knowing these 3 things. At the beginning, the same 3 things. You are now quite an advanced, the same 3 things. You are right near the top, the same 3 things. You graduated with triple honors, the same 3 things. That's it. But the level that you know, the impact of these 3 characteristics on your mind is entirely different from one level to the other to the other. It becomes more distinct, more sharp, more clear, more distinct, more sharp, more clear. The impact is become deeper and deeper and deeper into your psyche. And eventually, you and the 3 characteristics are one. 3 characteristics is you are 3 characteristics. That is the final. That is when you are called enlightened. There is no separation between the 3 characteristics and you. And you know what you is not you. You is these 3 general characteristics. That is the enlightenment time. So this whole thing is about these 3 general characteristics. Exploration of self is this body, this physical process, this matter is these 3 characteristics. This mind, okay, this consciousness is these 3 characteristics. And this body and mind together, we, in a diluted way, believe and call it as I, you, me, a self, a being, an individual, a person. That is how we deludedly believe and accept and live that way. As long as we live that way, we will never escape from the cycle of pain that comes along with that belief, that comes along with that concept that we hold tightly. But only when we let go of that concept, the pain that comes along with that concept is also gone. That is how one experiences. So in here, let's go back there. Where are we? Samasana jnana. Okay. The first wave of experience above the three general characteristics of mind and matter. In that time, we'll have a very bad meditation session. But one must be very clear about it. This is the phase you are going through. Actually, you are experiencing these three characteristics, okay, face to face. But you are weak. Your mind is weak. So we took it in a very, very bad way. We take it very badly. So badly, some people just quit. This is a nonsense. Okay, we take it badly because our mind is not strong enough yet. Our mind is weak. So even though we are experiencing it, we don't see as a progress, we don't see as good, and we take it very badly. That's the only thing. Know that in your mind. Know that in your reflective mind. And with persistence, you carry on. When you carry on, what happens is, slowly and slowly the minds become very cool, calm, and collective. And slowly these discomfort, both physical and mental discomfort, starting to disappear. Not only that they disappear, they don't even come back. And when they don't come back, of course, there's always something happening. Okay? As long as there's a mind and body, there's under a whole series of set of conditions, there's always something is happening, always something is happening. There's not a moment that is not happening. So what is happening was, instead of these uncomfortable physical and mental feeling, suddenly, both physical and mental, you began to feel different things. Something replaced at that spot. What it is this is common to all. We'll talk factors common to all. There are a certain different, specific experience and factor. That one is based on individuals and character. We will discuss when time's given later. But we will talk about what is common to all. You're meditating. Okay? These discomforts start to slip away. And then you feel very light, both physically and mentally. Okay, very light. Okay, especially once you get old, not when you're young. Once you get older, you can feel the heaviness of the body. You can feel the burdens of the body. Okay, you sit down and know that there's at the back, lower back, upper back, shoulder, neck, knees. There's actually weight sitting on your body, actually putting a weight on it. You're being pressed down. Because that is a part of the old age, sickness, and death, a series of life. And as we are in that age, and your body is very heavy because it is being pressed down. Or if you are young, you don't feel that much. But there are days that you have expended physically, worked very hard. On this day, your body feels tired and a little dragged down. When you're sick, you can feel the body is heavy and dragged down. Okay? Even when you're young, a certain time, when you're sick or when you're heavy load or when you have a very tough day, on those days, just observe your body. The body feels very heavy and pressed down. But when you meditate, when you're young or when you're old, first of all, you sit with it, but you know what you are supposed to do. You are doing exactly what you are supposed to do, and suddenly you reach, and suddenly this heaviness and dragging down feeling all disappear, and actually the body feels very light. Sometimes you will see, you come and you sit down here, you come in, hunch back, sit down. After about 2 hours, you get up, you are just floating like a little kid because the energy is there. The bodies become light, and when the bodies become light, the minds become light. And the minds become light, and the bodies become light. That is the first feeling. The feeling of being light replaces these discomfort, aches and pains and stuff like that. That's called, in Pali, it's called lahuta. Every meditator will experience that, no exception. In every sitting, if you have a relatively good section, you will feel that good session there. The bodies become light. And then you meditate. You meditate, and then what happened was, of course, not on the one sitting, second sitting. You have been in this kind of good, light feeling sessions quite often for some time. And then what happened is, automatically, you are not intentionally doing it. Automatically it changes. What changes is both physically and mentally become very gentle. Okay? The way you move your body, okay? Even other people notice. Okay? Other people notice more than you notice yourself. You are more graceful, you are more gentle, not robotic, not rough. Gentle movement, graceful movement. The body automatically starting to move that way. And the mind as well, the minds become gentler. There's less anger. There's less aversion. Gentle and soft. And you look at things very softly. That is another character change. Replaces, one is light and one's become very gentle. The way even you get up from sitting to walk in standing position, become more graceful and more light and more gentle if you are in that session kind of a mode. It changes because you're in a retreat, sitting session, then you go and do walking session. The way you got up is entirely different than the other period when you are in this kind of a mode. And in here, you are distinctively good. Your meditation is distinctively good. Not just simply good, very distinctively good. So that also, you can see in yourself, even the way you get up is not jagged, not rough, not disjointed. Smooth flow, but at the same time you can see it piece by piece, gentle. And then there's another character you will experience. That character is translation-wise, okay, it's called fit. Okay. You become very fit. Fit means just in general, when you're very fit, okay, you can run a lot longer distance with less going out of breath. That's physically fit. The same thing now we are doing in meditation. And how does one measure fitness in meditation? Meditation is you're sitting, okay, depending on each yogis are all different. One thing is Some people, they are quite jittery. Move here, move there, move here, move there. Quite often they move. Your body a little twitch and move. And here is, in one sitting, they don't move anymore. The whole session is just still and quiet. That movement's gone. That's become fit. And some people, they can sit for about an hour. People who can sit for an hour in this mode, they can sit for 2 hours or 3 hours without feeling fatigued, without feeling tired, without feeling dragged down. That kind of a thing. That is called fitness of mind and fitness of body. And then the next one is called proficiency. Okay, that's the translated word. But what did proficiency mean? The proficiency is you're meditating. Okay? You're meditating before you have to see what? Rising, falling, rising, falling, touching, sitting. Oh, you have to really apply to be there, apply to be there. This object finished, next object you apply, next object you apply. You have to put stress, effort. You have to make sure it doesn't slip away. You are applying a lot of effort to be from one object to the other so that it can be continuous. But when you come to this stage, no. What happened was you don't have to put that much stress, that much application to be one object to the other. Automatically, one object comes, disappear, go, another object can disappear. And they are going like one after the other, as if you are sitting and watching an assembly line. Boom, 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 just like that. Automatically, you seem to be able to follow these rising and passing away of both physical and mental objects with ease, more like automatic. That's it. So those are the changes that take place instead of these itchy and pain and suffering and irritating. And in this stage, your meditation is distinctively good. Okay? And that one we already know, the name is called Udayabaya Jnana. Okay? Knowledge or insight into the clear understanding of arising and passing away. Clear experiencing of arising and passing away. So just like that, in the meditation, when you go through the 13 stages, there are good session phases, there are bad session phases. There are good session phases, there are bad session phases. There are automatic phases and there are really bogged down phases. These kinds of ups and downs. Based on the level of insight, you will also experience good sessions and bad sessions. So with that, we will conclude. First of all, remember whatever are the conditions that produce you very good session. Keep them and reuse them whenever you can. And secondly, not all good or not all bad are due to the environmental and condition basis. They are also in the phases of insight level. And if you keep that in mind, you would be able to progress further. So we will go into more half theory, half practical explanation about the same thing, good session and bad session, next week as well. So may all of you be able to practice Satipatthana Vipassana meditation, and may you be able to penetrate into the true nature of mind and matter as soon as possible. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Buddham pujemi. Dhammam pujemi. Sangam Pujemi.